Baby Akuma, and I'd like to welcome to those of you who the other of which was BLS Pokemon 1. I will say it does have a major focus on Yu-Gi-Oh! Because that's what I'm into right now. For those of you who don't know me, like I said, I've had those two channels. I'm a Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania native, and I am really, really into video editing, so this is kind of my way of occupying my free time. Today, though, I'm going to be introducing you to me with a deck profile for Yu-Gi-Oh! It's going to be Card Trooper Agents. The deck itself first became really, really on the radar at YCS Indianapolis when Alistair Albans, whose YouTube channel is Alistair ARG, top 32'd. The theory behind the deck is to abuse Card Trooper, Herald of Orange Light, and Call of the Haunted to speed up your deck and essentially lock down your opponent. So I'm just going to jump straight into the deck profile. If you have any questions, you can leave me a comment down below. Elsewise, everything, if you know this game, is pretty self-explanatory. Alright, and I do use Dueling Network a lot, so you should see a decent amount of content from me being Dueling Network related. It's a very good tool to test decks. If you don't know about it, the website is up here. It's duelingnetwork.com. You can build a deck and just jump into a game with anybody. It's free to use. It's a very good tool, so definitely a little plug there for Dueling Network. Alright, so starting off with the deck, we have 2 Archlord Christia. This is your boss monster. You can special summon it if you have exactly 4 fairies in grave, and when you do, you can target a fairy that's in there and add it to your hand. You don't have to do it this way. The ideal way to do it in this deck is to use Card Trooper, put it in the graveyard, and use Call of the Haunted to special summon it, because when you special summon it, or you normal summon it, or you just summon it in general, your opponent and yourself cannot special summon, so it completely locks out any deck that has to special summon into something big. It's a very good card. It's only at 2 for good reason, but it normally would only see play at 1 or 2 in other agent decks. In Trooper builds, it's finally fast enough that you can play both of them. Yeah. So then you have 3 Master Hyperion. Hyperion's your secondary boss monster. Basically, you special summon it by removing an agent from your hand, field, or graveyard from play, and once per turn you can banish 1 light fairy from your graveyard to destroy 1 card on the field. He's kind of like a Dark Armed in a sense, except he's a little bit easier to summon, but with the compensation for his summoning condition, his actual effect isn't that great. It's great, it's just not as great as Dark Armed, I should say. Then you have the Agent of Mystery Earth. This is your searcher. You can search for any agent besides itself. It just came back to 2, and it coming back to 2 actually has given this deck a lot of life. So, very thankful for the ban list giving agents some leeway. Then you have 3 Agent of Creation Venus. This is your usual turn 1 card. It sets up a lot of your plays. It sets up your graveyard. Basically, you pay 500, you special summon a Mystical Shine Ball, which is a level 2 500 vanilla, and you use those to exceed. Usually you'll go into Gachi Gachi Gantetsu, who is one of your primary cards for this deck, because he gives all your monsters plus 200 attack and defense for each material attached to him. So you'll have Venus automatically at 2000, you'll have your Thunder Kings at 2300, and your Archlord Christia at 3200. It's a very, very essential card. I will say, if Earth were at 3, I would only run 2 Venus. I don't like 3, but with only 2 Earth, I need the 3rd in there for consistency issues. Going on to the next card, you have the Agent of Miracles Jupiter. This is a tech. A lot of people don't really like Jupiter. I have consistency issues with this deck I'm trying to fix. One of which being with Master Hyperion. I only played 5 agents and had 3 Hyperion, so there was a lot of time I would just have Hyperion and no agents. And by putting in Jupiter, it gives me a 6th agent, and it also helps to set up the graveyard for Christia, because once per turn I can remove from play an agent from my graveyard to increase a face-up light fairy type monster's attack by 800. So if I have a 5th fairy in grave and I banish one of the agents, that'll put me to 4, and then I can drop Christia, and usually from there I can win. So he's just to kind of toolbox the graveyard a little bit, in addition to set up for Hyperion Christia plays. Then you have your 3 Shine Ball. You use this to exceed, that's all you do with it, or you pitch it for Herald. It sucks when you draw him, but if you draw a Herald and you need that effect negation, it's not so bad. Then you have 2 Thunder King Ryo. Alistair only played 3. He actually played 3, so he maxed out on them. I found that I don't really ever need 3. Thunder King Ryo is a really good card, and it hurts a lot of decks, but you can dead draw it when you need an agent, so I cut it down to 2. With Call of the Haunted and Monster Reborn, I can put up to 6 Thunder Kings on the field. I don't really need the 3rd. It's just kind of nice to have, but at the same time, you don't need it, and taking it out was kind of a necessary evil. Then you play Card Trooper. It's your main engine of the deck. You mill cards, use Call of the Haunted. Pretty self-explanatory. Plus, it actually works with Call of the Haunted better, because if this card's in graveyard and say they use Heavy Storm and they would destroy a face-down Call of the Haunted, you can chain that Call of the Haunted, bring back Card Trooper, and then Heavy Storm will resolve and destroy Call of the Haunted, thus destroying Card Trooper, and when he's destroyed you can draw. Kind of the same reason you play Sangan. You don't mind milling Sangan, because if they Typhoon or they destroy a face-down Call of the Haunted, you can use it, grab Sangan, and search. He searches at least 5 monsters in your deck, and I don't really like Tour Guide in this deck because I mill, but I do like Sangan, so that's why I play him. He just gives me an additional little grab into the deck. Then you have Herald of Orange Light. That's your it's not a boss monster, but that's kind of one of the cards you use to abuse this deck. He's really good right now because against decks like Windups, he doesn't just negate the effect, he negates the activation, which will not allow their Magician or their Factory to trigger. So you definitely play him. He's also a level 2 tuner, and that's really good because you can use him to go into a level 2 Exceed, you can Synchro, and, well, obviously you negate effects. I think he's a little bit better in Effect Wailer just in this deck because it's a fairy deck, but mainly because of the activation thing. Like I said, if Windups get to activate their effects, then you could have a problem. This kind of prevents that mess. Then you have your obligatory Honest. You play almost all lights. You have 2 darks, but the rest are all lights. Then you have Gores. Most people wouldn't probably play Gores in a deck that plays Call of the Haunted. My issue is I only play 7 traps, so a lot of the time I won't actually get to my Call of the Haunted right away. And if my opponent's able to OTK me, Gores is kind of that little insurance boost I need. It's not horrible, but it does protect me, and I need protection. This deck just will lose to Heretics unless I have a Herald or a protection card like Gores. Then I have 2 Duality. I don't special summon as much as people would think, so those Duality can actually fix the bad hands that agents tend to get. I definitely have been loving this card more and more in this deck. I probably wouldn't take it out. I'm probably going to keep playing it. Then you have your obligatory one-ofs, Book, Reborn, Dark Hole, and Heavy. Then I play 3 MST. I was playing 2, but I recently decided I'm going to take out the Solemns, take out my Solemn Judgment and 2 Solemn Warning. The reason is I already pay life points with Venus, so I really don't want to go down to almost half my life points with 1 Solemn Warning. I don't like it, and if I really need to stop something, I have other ways to do it. So I put in 3 MST. A lot of people might not like that, but you have to understand this deck goes through life points pretty quickly, so you really don't need the Solemns, and you definitely need some protection from back row since you play mostly monsters. Then I have 2 Torrential. As you can tell, there are a lot of cards I don't mind sacrificing, like Shine Ball, Card Trooper, and Sangin. So Torrential is usually a pretty good option. Then I have 2D Prison. I don't really like Bottomless, and if they get their big guy out before I can set a Bottomless, this kind of helps that. Pretty self-explanatory. The card's still really good. I could play Mirror Force, but at the same time, I would rather remove something than actually send it to grave, because then if they have a way to get into their grave, they just bring it back, and I kind of don't like the thought behind it because it feels like I'm negging myself. Then you have 3 Call of the Haunted. If you followed me on BLS for Game, or not BLS for Game, I'm sorry, Martinson Mafia, I said outright when Call of the Haunted went back to 3, there's gonna be some way to abuse it. Inzectors, Agents, Psychics, not Chaos Dragons. Inzector, Agents, and Psychics are 3 examples that have abused Card Trooper plus Call of the Haunted. Honestly, it's really good. It's pretty much a Monster Reborn except for your grave, but with Card Trooper, that's actually not bad at all. So it's a very toolbox card, and it's essential to the deck running. I'm not going to go over my side deck because this is just a random side deck I'm using right now. You can probably tell as I have the Seal of Orichalcos in there, that's just kind of a joke. I'm going to briefly touch on the extra deck. Most of these synchros are just because of very, 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 very rare situations. I don't really synchro at all. It's only when I can push for game or I need something. So, you know, I have a Catastor in there, a Magical Android, because I do side Gozen Match. Regardless of what's in my side deck right now, Gozen Match will be in there, and I need a light to go into. So I do play Gozen Match, and Android helps me get some of that life back that I use with Venus. Gaia Knight, Wyvern, it helps OTK. It's a really good card, but like I said, I don't go into synchros all that often. Black Rose, Scrap Dragon over Stardust because, well, I don't even really want to play Scrap Dragon. I don't ever go into a level 8. The resources to do it would put me, I think, neg 2, and a Stardust definitely is not worth that neg 2 in this deck. I have no situation where I ever want to go into it, so I have Scrap Dragon in here just because he has a bit more bulk to him, and he has a pretty good effect with my dead cards, like my floating Call of the Haunteds. So I have him in there. I could take him out. I don't know yet. I haven't decided. Mistworm because we don't have Trishula. And then I'm going to go in and talk about the Exceeds. The Exceeds are cards I play, at least the first 4. Dark Mist, you make him by using pretty much 3 Shine Ball. He's really good, and he gets you out of awkward spots. I've used him almost at least once every tournament I go to. There's always one spot I need him in there, so I definitely would play him. Even Alistair played him, so I'm not crazy. Then you have 2 Gotchi Gentetsu. This is one of your semi-boss monsters. It's not a boss monster in the sense that it kills your opponent, but it sets up all your guys and makes them pretty bulky. So he's pretty much steroids for your guys, which I guess in Yu-Gi-Oh! Steroids aren't a bad thing. Then you have Daigusto Phoenix. This card's really good. You detach a material, you can target 1 wind monster, which includes himself, and it can attack twice, so that's 3,000 damage off of a level 2, or I'm sorry, a rank 2 guy, and that just helps you set up OTKs, or at least pushes for game. The rank 3s in here are just kind of, if I need them. I usually never do. The only way I can make rank 3s is by using Venus, or Card Trooper, or a Sangin, and I never really want to go into rank 3s with any of those cards, so I have these in here just in case. Like the Zen mains I will use on time to time. Tempo I will use because he's really, really good. I don't really use Leviair that much, and I rarely ever use a Leviathan Dragon. Anyway guys, that is the Card Trooper Agent build I am currently playing. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you have any questions, please just leave a comment down below. I hope to have more content up soon. I'm just kind of gauging the waters right now to see how this turns out. Anyway guys, this is the GB Akuma, signing off.